I wish we had our own microphone.
It's recording.
I don't see you.
There I am. I came out of nowhere.
Well, welcome to what, Bodhi?
Bodhi VanRockout.
Welcome to Bodhi's Backstage Pass.
Yes.
Who are you?
I'm Bodhi.
Right on. And who are we interviewing today?
Emcee Sick.
Nice. What band is he playing? They're called Pseudo Slang.
Oh, Pseudo Slang.
Yeah. All right, let me get our questions going. All right.
Before everything happens, I want to tell you a joke. How do you stop a rhinoceros from charging?
I don't know. How do
you take away his credit card. Sans, what are you doing here?
Oh,
you have anyone down there too? Not except my brother. Sans, stop making terrible puns. Okay, you're coming with me, Papyrus. You're going back down there. Okay, bye. You have a special guest, I guess. Papyrus.
Okay. All right, so we're waiting for Emcee Sick to dial in. He should be with us any second now. Hang on. So, Bodhi, what did you think of the those backdrops I made for the Zoom call?
The last backdrop that I just saw was, it looked like I was in the back of Kiss Alive, the record.
So you recognize where that was from?
Yes.
That's cool.
I'm sad.
That's cool. What did you think about the Space Cat one?
I really like the Space Cat and the font. Not so much about the name tag.
You didn't like the Backstage Pass logo?
Not really that much, but it was a nice touch.
Yeah? What don't you like about it?
I just don't think it should have been there.
Well, you know, a Backstage Pass, that's like what a Backstage Pass looks like.
Yeah.
So when you go and you get to interview bands at the concert, so you go up to the window and they tell them that you're here to interview a band, and they give you one of those lanyards that says Backstage Pass, and you wear it, and then the people at Backstage, they let you back there.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I threw it in there. So
interesting.
That's what Backstage Pass looks like. Okay, so Emcee Sick should be joining us any second now.
What do you think about Emcee Sick? Papyrus? Okay, says he doesn't want to talk about him, but he wants to say spaghetti. He likes spaghetti.
I liked him. We listened to his music. What did you think?
It was good.
You like it? What kind of music is it?
Rap.
Rap, kind of hip hop. And do you remember where he's from?
You didn't tell me that.
He's from Chicago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to pause this. I'll let you know when he gives us a ring. Get your place.
He gets Papyrus.
All right, here we go. He is ready. Ready for this, Bodhi?
Yep. Welcome.
Emcee Sick, how are you?
I'm good. Should I be the other way?
Yeah, you can turn it the other way because you're like horizontal.
Sure. Is it too loud here?
Oh, that's perfect. You sound like you're in the mean streets of Chicago.
Yeah, I guess they're mean. Not so mean right here.
All right, man. So, Bodhi, you want to kick it off?
Okay. So tell us about yourself, Emcee Sick.
I do hip hop music. I do art. Make a lot of vinyl records. and the name of the group is called Pseudo Slang. And thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no worries, right? We're excited to have him on here.
Yes.
Awesome.
So why do they call you Emcee Sick? Is it because you're always sick, or is it because you always write 6 rhymes? Since I'm done with the joking. Sounds like someone's play button's broken.
Yeah, right. Why do they call you Emcee Sick?
Well, basically, you know, I guess I was much more pessimistic when I was younger, maybe. And it was also my graffiti tag.
Oh, right.
Not to endorse criminality.
Not at all. You know, one of the things that Bodhi helping him to learn to write, you know, handwriting's kind of tough for kids, was actually, he was kind of into graffiti. All my kids were kind of into graffiti, and that kind of helped them learn writing. So,
right. I mean, without handwriting, I think, I mean, that's a sad place to be heading to without handwriting.
Absolutely, man. So, why don't you tell us, like, what got you into music?
I think I was in a musical household, so there was a piano in the living room. My dad sang opera, so every Saturday, today, was you know, the bellowing of my father from the basement, and yeah, you know, and also my mom's a writer, so the combination of hip hop between, you know, music and words is a pretty special one, and so I was always seemed to be on a path with both of them.
So was like with playing music like on stage or like professionally, was that something that you had dreamed about doing like as a kid? Like what age did you start getting into music and realizing that you could like make a living as a musician?
That's a tricky one.
Unpack it.
Not the last part is tricky.
Yeah.
Which is kind of another story, I think. But basically, I don't know if I had dreams of like being a performer, and it took a while before I felt like I was not totally crappy at performing, you know. And you know, I was organizing a lot of shows and a lot of events, putting together events from, you know, from the Bronx to New Rochelle to Buffalo to Chicago. And it wasn't until, you know, I started throwing a regularly occurring event in Buffalo that I really felt good about performing, because I learned so much from other performers. And you know, and then I got to learn from idols of mine. And it, you know, it teaches you a lot. But I think at one point when I was really touring a lot, like I was touring like half the year of every year during our period of time where we had our Fat Beats deal, and there was a lot of pressure, you know, to be on the road half the year every year. And I think I was on a hell-bent mission to like make the music support me. And I realized later that it's more important to do the music for all sorts of reasons, for mental health, for spirit, for communication, for community. And I had been kind of holding it hostage in a sense, like just, it's gotta sustain me. It's gotta, you know, I have to succeed financially. And then I realized that that wasn't really so important.
All right, that's awesome, man. Let me back up really quickly. So like at what time did you start like putting shows on? And like what year was that, you think?
Huh.
So I want to get the timeline down for everyone.
No, I mean, it always trips me out because I'm not that good at years, but it trips me out because, you know, we're like, it ends up being that you end up dating yourself and realizing how old you are. But it must have been like 1992 2 or 3, you know, when I was kind of throwing some like, I mean, they were shows, but they were like, you know, back then, I guess I looked at it more like an impetus to like get people together and exchange, you know, music, but like also took it really seriously, like organizing the show in its structural ways and all that. But yeah, I at the time I wouldn't have thought like, oh, I'm like organizing a show. But now that I look back, I was, and we would do all hand drawn, you know, flyers and posters, and now that I look back, it was, you know, so it must have been like 92 or 93 or something.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I don't think of it as dating you. I think of it as you building credibility, though, man. You were in the, you know, you were doing it. You know, you're out there organizing, putting shows together, and then you're kind of learning the ropes and learning, like, you know, how it's done. And then at some point, right, you said you would rather be on stage than being, you know, putting the stage acts together. So, like, at what point, like, what was it like in your head at that point in time? Like, when was it? And then what was it that gave you like the courage to just go for it?
I don't know if it was courage. It was like an impetus more so, you know, that you feel compelled to be a part of the world, you know. If we don't, now that I'm older, I mean, I know more about why I did things when I was younger, you know, but when you're doing it, I know that, you know, it's kind of a feeling, but the feeling is a normal feeling for all of us. Same reason we're doing this right now. I mean, you know, we're here on earth to communicate with each other and build, and it's an amazing gift, you know, to be given the gift of people to like welcome you and say, hey, you could, like, not even saying you could do it, but then you do it, and they come and you deal with people respectfully and with humility and all those things, and also come and bring like everything you're able to bring, you know, all of the things that you can muster. And then I think and then you did it, and they were there, and then you're like, oh, like, that was a transformative experience. Or you feel like, wow, I could have done so much better, which was always, you know, kind of like when I was younger, I was always like, man, no, that was not that was not what I wanted, you know. And then you realize way later that it was pretty dope. And then, you know, now, you know, over the past whatever years, it's like a ferocity. It's like a must to be able to perform. And that's also why this time is really hard.
Because of COVID, yeah. So what are you doing to, like, how are you staying like artistically creative and like what are you doing?
I've recorded more music than maybe I've ever written and recorded. So it's so that's something. And I'm doing a lot of art. I still have work, you know, work for money, but it's also creative. I do graphic design, and I still have a lot of work, which is amazing, because so many artists especially have nothing to fall back on financially. You can't even go and like serve at a restaurant, or, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing for some people. So I'm trying to take the diminished money that I'm making. It is diminished, but it's still money. And I'm trying to take it and support other artists. And it's kind of working out. I have a lot of coals in the fire with that. But as far as performing, I mean, I can't even describe how much I was supposed to be on tour from May through June. Yeah, I think I would have been back. I don't remember what the dates were, but I was supposed to be in Europe for 3 months in the middle of COVID. And I had about 40 cities lined up. And so I'm just waiting for Europe to open back up to go and make good on that tour, because this record that just actually came here yesterday, I think, this is my first double LP. so looks all nice. And it's a collaboration with another guy named Pawcut, and he's in Germany. And so I'd like to bring him his portion of records. And so I'm just waiting for Europe to open back up. But right now I'm like talking with some people about doing some shows in the States. But I'm taking it slow, you know, because I also want to get involved only with things that are going to be thoughtful and responsible and aware, you know, of all the situations.
That's awesome, man. I love it. Buddy, you had a question.
You have been touring for more than 20 years. Tell us about your ups and downs.
20 years on the road. That's a long time, man. That's doing something you love. We want to hear about it.
I mean, it's been the gift of my existence. I couldn't ask for anything more. It's just, I never envisioned that I would be able to, you know, I grew up in the Bronx, and I just didn't envision that I would be able to travel and be doing something creative. And so yeah, it has been a lot of ups and downs. You know, there was a period of homelessness, a couple periods actually of homelessness, one in Buffalo, one in Chicago. And, but it also was like a gift too, you know, because when I was homeless, I realized a lot of things about, you know, the people in your life. You know, you realize, you know, who's really got your back. You realize a lot when you need a lot. So when you're in need. And I also used that opportunity while I was homeless. I was like, I'm going to tour constantly because, of course, I didn't have a home. And, you know, it wasn't really any fault of anything. It was just, you know, when you're living as an artist, you live hand to mouth. And I wasn't like able to stack any money. And then there was a fire in the apartment building, and that just, I didn't really have a recourse. I didn't have, like other people, I didn't have like next week or next month's checks coming in, you know, to rebound from that situation. So, but I mean, actually, now that I look back on it, I mean, it was tough, but it was such an amazing learning experience for me, and it shaped a lot of, you know, it shaped me, I guess.
I mean, wow, that's an incredible story, man. Like to persevere and like to pursue your dream like that. We want to hear a bit about like some of the people that you've collaborated with, because it looks like you've like collaborated with a ton of people. And you know, who like tell us about some of the people that really stand out in your mind that helped you get to the next level, or like that believed in you and helped you persevere through all this.
Yeah, I guess, you know, there's been, I mean, the list is endless, and then I'll feel really bad for all the people that I missed, but
we'll
you know,
we'll list them.
Sorry.
We will list them for you on you know, in the YouTube comments or in our section. So we don't want to forget anything. But we want to hear about, you know, some people, you know, they come into your life at the right time, right? And they just they help you get to the next step or keep going at something when, you know, when you're kind of down. Like, who are some of those collaborators that just you had that chemistry with and you just next leveled it?
Yeah, I mean, to start at now, you know, in a way, because for the past few years, I've been collaborating with this guy, Pawcut, Pawcut, and he's a really, like, I mean, he's a great producer. He makes kind of like really dirty, kind of jazz-like compositions, or at least the stuff I'm doing with him kind of comes out like dark and yet melodic jazz that's got a lot of depth in it. And it's not just dark, there's uplifting. It goes through the spectrum, but he's an amazing person to collaborate with, because this album is called Wanderverse, and this album was intended to only be a lead up to the next album, which I consider to be the best album I've ever recorded. Written and recorded in I think 8 days at his place over in West Germany on a tour, you know, and it was kind of the it was the product of a really, it was a hard tour in many ways, and so when the kind of first part of the tour was done, actually the whole tour was supposed to be done, but I kept going, but I went and kind of like parlayed at his place. And I obviously had a lot to get out, I guess. And so, and we sat for 8 days. I mean, we didn't do much else except, you know, sustain ourselves with food and just write this album. And that's called Quiet Anthem. And that'll be the next vinyl release. And so this Wonderverse was just supposed to be a lead up. And, but then it became more than we expected it to become. I thought it was just going to be a cassette or something, and we were just going to end it. And it actually was way dope. So he definitely, I mean, it's kind of one of those, Quiet Anthem is one of those albums that it's like, all right, I could, you know, if, you know, something weird were to happen and I wouldn't be able to do music anymore, I'd at least be able to say, like, I got that done. And so that's a big thing for any artist, to be able to like get that thing that they've been striving all their life towards, you know, ready to be released. So that's, I have nothing but the utmost gratitude towards him. But there's a long list. There's, you know, the guy who's mastered every record I've released, named JL, who I used to work with way back in the day in the 90s. And I'm still working with him, not really creatively because he's more of a mastering engineer, but he used to be a beat maker, and those were formative days of my career. And there's a lot of collaborators. For the last 10 years until recently, I was collaborating with a guy named DJ Form. And, you know, that guy's been like my brother for a decade. And then before that, there was these cats in Buffalo. And then before that, there was these folks in more the New York City area, like the Bronx and now Rule, aka New Rochelle. And you know, some of the folks also aren't with us anymore, you know. And so, you know, so I think about my homie Abdu, aka Larry Lar, and I mean, you know, I just wrote a song called Sitting Here, where I kind of feel like often when I'm in the studio writing, that those people who left this space, you know, are with me then, you know. And so I could, you know, do them, you know, do it right by them in a way, you know, like I could do good for them, like I could do better. And so they're there. So they're in those songs. So, yeah, that's a long list. Al, Osei. I mean, there's all these incredible collaborators. DJ Tommee, DJ LoPro, DJ Rich the Snitch, Johnny Cock, JL, yeah, Derringer, who's now like kind of a big deal with the Griselda Cats at Westside Gun and them, and they're all out of Buffalo. And when we were doing our event in Buffalo, those cats used to come to our event, you know, and they seem like really cool cats. And you know, the whole Buffalo crew, the whole Baby Steps crew was a really huge formative experience. It was a 10-year weekly event that we threw, and it was life-changing for me and everybody else who got to experience it. So yeah, I mean, the list is just the list is just crazy. Oh, I almost forgot Rawhead in Albany, Daniel Johnson. Yeah, just there's so many, and I'm gonna feel bad, by all that I left out. But I agree with you. We'll put them in the comments.
Yeah, you know, what I noticed about him when he was answering that question was like twice you really just started beaming. First of all, I want to, you know, when you were talking about your life's work, man, that latest album that you put out, you know, I just saw you smile with, you know, you're happy, there's pride there. And then when you talk about your, you know, the people that came into your life that help you, you know, build your career, man, I just love seeing you smile about it. You know, that's awesome sense of accomplishment, man. And congrats on the new record. We both dig it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've listened to it. So what's your question?
Cool. Thank you for listening.
What's your favorite thing of playing music on tour?
The people that you meet, even if you just make eyes with people, you know, because, you know, I'm wearing sunglasses because it's bright as hell out here, but when you're on stage, you're performing, but you're not really performing. You're like connecting with people and you're kind of picking up on what they're giving you. So you look at people in the eye throughout a crowd whenever you're performing, and they give you the, without them, it's, you know, what are you doing? So it's your privilege for them to be there. You know what I mean? So I'm privileged for people to come in a room, gather in a room or in a space. Now it's going to be outside, right? But I'm so blessed to be able to, you know, meet eyes with people and have them be receptive to the stuff I made, you know. And so those are the people. That's the whole thing, is people. It's the whole thing. And you know, my mom always said, if you're, and I don't even know if she understands my music, but that's not, I mean, I guess it's important, but the important part is that she said, if what you're doing doesn't have an effect on people, doesn't change them in some way, make them feel in some way, then you're not doing it. You didn't do it right, or whatever. So you know, that's a constant striving, and you know, sometimes we fail at that, you know, in whatever we're doing. You know, you fail in having the effect you wished you had, but actually then you realize later you're like, oh well, actually I had more of an effect than I really comprehended at the time. And you know, and it's not bigging yourself up or giving yourself a pat on the back. It's more so that, you know, you're making an attempt, and so that's the blessing, is people.
It's amazing, man. So your mom is...
Wait, stop! It's time for Bodo Rando
Are we
Quesio!
really gonna do that?
Yes!
Okay, what does that mean?
Now hold up the sign.
Nice.
Not that sign. Yes, that sign. This part of the interview, I asked Emcee Sick a random question. So,
Yes.
that's a good question. What was your favorite toy growing up as a child?
My favorite what?
Toy.
Toy. Oh, Matchbox cars. You know, because you would go where I grew up in the Bronx, there was like, you know, we had like plants and stuff and garden stuff, but then there was like this patch of like this dirt where nothing would grow in the dirt, and the dirt was all dusty. So in the summers, I would take the Matchbox cars and run them through the dirt, and they'd create like dust coming up behind them, and they kind of looked like the Dukes of Hazzard. And I thought that was cool, and so I'd have like long sessions with my Matchbox cars. So I gotta say, I think Matchbox cars was my favorite toy.
That's awesome. I love those things too.
So what's your mostly favorite thing about being a musician?
Your least favorite thing? Is that what you're asking him?
Yes.
Oh boy, that's a good one. What was your
Least favorite thing about what?
Being a musician, being out on the road.
Huh. I'll be honest with you, I even like the struggles of it. So it's hard to find a least. I guess, you know, the flights, maybe because my ears, I get the really bad pain in my ears when I fly. So maybe that. But I even like confrontation. You know, I like the whole thing. I guess if I had to pick something, yeah, but I like the confrontation of it because you learn from it. But one of the things I hate the most is when people try to not pay you for what you do. But even though it's kind of a jostling experience, it's kind of terrible and all that, I kind of like the confrontation of it because we're not gonna like accept that. So it's going to come to head in one way or the other. We're gonna confront this until there's some sort of resolution. And I don't care what the resolution is, because I'm not with that. You know, I'm not with like that kind of bull. So while I hate that, I also don't mind the confrontation of it, because people need to learn in one way or the other that this is way more, that art and expression and creativity is way more valuable than your like exchange of monies, you know, that it's the valuing of this that's the important part. And if they're going to try to like, you know, breach the agreement and do that, like then we're going to get into it, you know, because that's important. That's an important thing to get into it about. But I can't say that I really least pleasant. You know, I can't think that that's the least. Maybe it's just the air flights.
You know, I love your answers, man. They're real. And you know, the fact that you enjoy the struggle, I mean, that's just a testament to your longevity, like why you've been a musician for like more than 20 years out on the road and stuff. I mean, you can't really think of a drawback. And that's awesome. I love it.
Thanks.
Let's talk a little bit about the new record. I mean, with Pawcut. I mean, we read about the Proof of Life, the giveaway thing. Tell us a little bit about what that's all about.
Oh yeah, that's still out there too. So basically, the record was at the record pressing plant, and COVID hit, and we had a feeling it would be delayed, and of course it was crazy. And so we went ahead anyway, and we released the digital, even though some people said it's maybe not the best idea to do that. It'll hurt sales, but I think sales are going to be hurt for artists anyway. So we went and released it digitally, and then we gave away the C side of the record, because basically it's the first double LP. So there's the A side, the B side, and I really like the C side. I even like the C side, like The Place by the Water too. And that's what I thought was so sweet and poetic about it. But anyway, we gave away the C side for free, and it's easy to find. You just go to pseudoslang.com/free, and you can just download the C side, and it's free for people. And basically it's my first double LP, so 2 records in 1 jacket, and I love that it's a gatefold. And yeah, it says on the back here, it says, "Wander through these days, construct your own ways."
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, because it was kind of a product of wandering. If you think about it, this record, well, not if you think about it, I'll tell you about it. The record's actually kind of a wander from the album that we already kind of wrote and recorded so fast, but we recorded it so fast that we had a lot left over. And so we started taking the stuff that was left over, and we wanted to make a cassette, but it turned into something way bigger. and I think it's pretty amazing. I think it's an amazing record, and it's kind of wanders. It's digressive, and it's really interesting. So,
I mean, it's the
so yeah, I'm happy with it.
the communulation. It's like the combination. I mean, it's your whole life work put together, man. I mean, all you know, you can hear the struggle. That's, I mean, it's great, man.
Yeah,
So,
thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to it. Appreciate it. Hi.
I wanted to kind of hear. So it was our friend Alex White from White Mystery who put us together. And I mean, at first I was wondering, how did you know each other? But I mean, it's kind of obvious now that you guys are both Chicago artists, right? Is that how you got hooked up?
Yeah, and through our mutual friend Fred, who is one of the most interesting people I know, and a fantastic person with a huge heart. And Fred, I met Fred through a bunch of poetry friends, because I'm always linked in with a lot of poetry people. And Fred is both a poet and a supporter of poets and a supporter of arts, and kind of an organizer and a pretty amazing visionary and artist. And so I was looking for people to help, and Fred put me in touch with Alex, and I can't say enough nice things about Alex White. I would find it hard to say I would find it hard to say only a few words. She it's taken a lot of time during what's obviously a struggle for everybody, and I'm kind of floored by her and her kindness
And her talent, man. Her and her brother are
she's amazing.
amazing. They're amazing. Awesome.
So,
Holy crap.
so what advice would you give a kid like me to write music or play music for a living?
The advice that I would give would be to take the weakest parts, the things that you feel the most self-conscious about, and focus on fortifying those, because to make your own style, and that style not like fashion, but to make your own kind of style of music, their own style of expression that's true to you, is hard, because it's hard to do it from nothing, from scratch. But if you focus on the things that you might feel the most self-conscious about, and work and work and work and work on those, and do that in order to like gain kind of like an honest presentation of your feelings, not just your feelings, but your I guess like your honest like presentation of everything that you do, and that's it's harder to do it that way, but I think that way is the better way to do it.
I love it, man. We're gonna buy our own copy, man. So tell that.
So, how fans of Bodhi's Backstage Pass will find out more about your music?
Yeah, where can we find? Because I want to buy a copy, man. We support the people that we like,
Yeah.
and we want to be able to
Okay.
buy a copy of that record, man. And tell people how they can find more about you.
Okay. Yeah, you can go to Pseudo Slang everywhere. But the most important thing of figuring that out is that Pseudo Slang is spelled Pseudo and then Slang. So Pseudo Slang, and you could go to the website, you could go to the Instagram, you could go to the Facebook, and you could go to Bandcamp, you can go to wherever you buy music. But we really like vinyl, so get the vinyl, because I think especially in this day when everything's streaming, And CDs are obviously a thing of the past. I think vinyl is pretty important because it's the only thing that you could collect and hold. And so we have a lot of vinyl out there. And so go get some Pseudo Slang vinyl, Pseudo Slang. And also when you do it, say hello, like, you know, give some sort of feeling, or just say hello or say whatever you want, write gibberish, what, you know, whatever, anything. But some sort of interaction is really important for artists, not just me, you know, not just Pseudo Slang. You know, interaction for artists is really important because a lot of artists go through really tough times, and then like you'll get messages from people that'll say something, you know, like, what you made was transformative for me and helped me, you know, in so many ways. And the same goes for me with other artists, you know, and I feel that way, that artists have helped me, you know, through life in every way. So so not just with Pseudo Slang, with every artist you like send a message. It doesn't have to be deep. Just, it could be silly, fun, whimsical, and interact, because otherwise they'll never know, you know, that they'll never know how you feel, you know. And especially now where shows aren't really happening and all that, it's harder for artists to get a feeling for people. And you know, a society without artists is not one that we want to live in, you know. And right now they're in danger, you know. So
I can't agree with you more, man. I love that you're encouraging folks to reach out to the people that make music and into artists, and to show your appreciation. And, you know, you've been able to use that and create a career out of it. And I think a lot of people, you know, they just overlook that. So coming from a musician telling other folks that, you know, you appreciate it, I think that means a lot, man. I hope people that watch this will think about that and reach out to you and reach out to other musicians. And just, you know, like you said, people are important. That was your favorite part about touring. And I mean, music brings people together, you know, and let them know. I think that's really important, man. Bodhi and I, we collect records. So we're absolutely going to be picking up.
Like, you can hold one.
That's about it, man. We just wanted to make sure we thanked you for coming on.
And also, this is hardly of our records. We got like 6 boxes of them.
Pretty soon we're going to record too, man. We'll make sure we let you know, and maybe you could autograph it for us.
I would love to. You know, I would love to get you out one. So we'll handle all that, and I'll send you a bunch of the posters and stuff. Like, cause there's also like a lot of the record. There's a lot of stuff in the background that you see. There's a lot of art around because, you know, we're using words in the music, but we're also using words in the world, and it's harder to communicate with people. Everybody's wearing masks, you know, and so the best thing that we could do is communicate any way possible. And we have a lot of signs here in front of the building discouraging, you know, Nazis and racists, and encouraging people to care about each other, you know. And so art is really important. So when I put together a package, I'll send you some of the posters that we're going to be putting on sale to support also visual artists, you know. And I'll send you guys a care package, because it looks like you guys got a lot of cool stuff that I like.
You do, man. I think what's so touching is, you know, you said your mom was an artist, and you, I mean, look at you. You're an artist. I mean, you're doing it. You're real. You're visual artist, you know, music artist. I mean, that's awesome, man. We love talking to people that just, you know, are doing what they love.
Yeah.
I love talking to you guys, because you guys are inspiring me, because there's not everybody cares as much, or it's not that they don't care, but not everybody has the time that they take aside, because time is of the greatest value. You know, time is the thing that is of the greatest value to us. So for y'all to take the time, and because you're passionate, you know, it's not a gesture. For y'all to take the time is because you feel that. So I'm very grateful for y'all, and I'm inspired by that, you know, so it makes me want to take more time.
Dude, thank you so much for saying that, man.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna end it on a high note right there, man.
Love.
Much love. We'll have you back on, dude. I can't wait to talk to you again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had a little something to throw in the air, but I figure we'll do that. We'll do a re-up on it.
Yeah, we got a part 2. We're gonna have more stuff to talk about. All right, Emcee Sick. Thank you so much for calling in, man. We love you.
I love it, Bodhi. I love it, Eric. Love. Thank y'all.
Cheers, bro.
All right, peace.
Bye.
Bye.